Hey,
Okay.
Adrienne Lynch here with the Lynch team at Conway Real Estate, and I have Steve Dabbs with me with Care Funding Solutions. Welcome.
Hi there. How are you today?
Doing great. I'm enjoying this first 100-degree week. I feel like we're getting back to normal.
Actually, I was looking forward to it this time because they keep saying that might slow this virus problem we got down a notch.
I agree. I'm excited on that too.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this week we could kind of circle back to the VA pension with the aid and attendance. So one of the questions I have for you is, what is the VA pension with aid and attendance benefit program?
Well, that's a great question. A lot of people don't know about that benefit, and it's a veterans benefit that's for wartime veterans. They have to have served during a period of war, and it'll pay up to $1,911 for a veteran, $2,266 for a married couple per month, and $1,228 per month for a surviving spouse to help pay for long-term care.
And how do you qualify for those benefits?
I have kind of dubbed that the 3 M's to pension qualification, which again is what I mentioned, military service. You have to have served at least 90 days of active duty with 1 day during a period of war and have an honorable or general discharge to be qualified militarily, or the first M. Now, the second M is medical. Now, medical includes your activities of daily living, which are often referred to as ADLs, and they are bathing, dressing, toileting, transferring, eating, walking. Now, medication management is back on the list of a qualifying ADL.
Oh,
and by the way, they go strictly by what the doctor says. So if the doctor says that you need help with bathing, then that's all they need is they go from the doctor report. And also I like to note is bathing isn't necessarily someone bathing you. It is also standby assistance in the shower in case you're a fall risk. So that will also be a qualifier. And keep in mind, a simple needing help putting on a pair of shoes is dressing. Putting on stocking, buttoning a button can be qualified as dressing. Okay, so that would be the second M. And then the third M is money, which includes the both income and assets is considered money. Now, the income qualifier isn't as defined other than, Adrian, it is basically you need to zero out your income against care costs. And independent living, assisted living, nursing home costs all will go toward making your income negative. So a good example would be, let's say you have a $3,000 a month income and you're paying $4,000 a month for an assisted living community. Well, that would be a negative income, wouldn't it?
Right.
Or net negative. So therefore, that would qualify income-wise. Now, the asset qualifier is a little different. It's a little more defined. It's called the bright line limit, and it is currently a little over $129,000 that you can have in your name, not counting a home, cars, vehicles, they say, and your personal items. You can have more than one car, but you can only have one home, by the way, so one home. But one way, let's say somebody has, when they come to me, let's say they have $300,000 or $400,000. And let's say, for instance, they have a home, they're happy with it, but I say to them, listen, why don't you call Adrienne Lynch, okay, and talk to her about, upgrading your home to a little larger one, maybe one that has, allow you to stay in it longer because it's handicap accessible, a little newer, a little more modern. And then you take part of your assets and in your current home and buy that new home, and that will bring your total assets down to under the $129,000 limit, and then you also can exempt those assets by buying that new home. So it's a great way, and I've made that suggestion to a number of people as far as money.
Right.
So again, that's the 3 M's to pension qualification. Okay.
I think that's great. And what are the benefit amounts a veteran can receive?
Okay, I mentioned that earlier. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Yeah, it's $1,911 for a single veteran per month. Yeah, and it's $2,266 per month for a married couple, and then it's $1,228 per month for a surviving spouse of a veteran. And by the way, I like to always mention that that is tax-free and doesn't affect your Social Security income either.
I think that's great. And how can you help a veteran with a claim, or how do they apply?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, there are actually only 3 people legally that are allowed or recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs to do claims for a veteran. One is your VSO. That's the guy sitting down at the VFW, American Legion. There's also VSOs at the VA downtown. The other person is an accredited attorney, and then what I am is an accredited claims agent, and we're all recognized by the Veterans Affairs. And unless you're in those categories, you're not supposed to do claims, even though that law is broken often. So again, first thing you should probably look up is make sure that they're legally doing the work. Secondly, how we help is we actually help you file the claim and walk it through, make sure it's done right the first time, hopefully cut down the time. The claims process has been becoming more and more and more difficult almost daily. New forms, changes in the way they want the forms completed. I'm dealing with that on a number of claims right now. So I think it's vitally important that you not only work with somebody who knows what they're doing, but also has got enough claims activity to anticipate these changes. In fact, today I had a phone call with a gentleman in North Carolina by the name of David Cole. David and I often network together. He's also an accredited claims agent, and his wife is as well. And we were kind of battering back and forth the different problems we're having. And it's really helpful because they're active, I'm active, and I think that brings added value to the table, no doubt.
Okay? Definitely. I think that's great. And I think that most people know when it comes to the government and veterans, I mean, there's so much red tape that you have to get through, and they have no idea how to get through that. And the fact that you're there all the time and working on these processes is just such a great advantage for them to hire you to kind of map that out for them. So I think that's perfect. You gave us a ton of information today, so we will post the details of what the 3 M's are below and how to reach you. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, they can either go to the website, carefundingsolutions.com. I also have a website called veteranspension.com, but they can also call me at 800-543-0530, and that'll ring right to me, and I'll answer any questions they might have.
Perfect. Well, then we'll put that information on there, and I appreciate you coming and talking to us about it.
All right. Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate it.